What would you describe would be the difference day to day for someone working in a remote job versus freelancing? Because I think that a lot of people who are wondering, like, should they get a remote job or should they freelance? Like, if you get a remote job, you're still going to make maybe websites for a karate dojo or other businesses because, you know, your boss still has clients. So for you still have to do the same sort of websites. What would be the difference in the way that you experience your career, the work environment as a freelancer?
Yeah. So it's pretty simple. Like 2 words: the money and the freedom.
Right.
These are the 2 main distinctions between having a remote job and being a freelancer. So as a web developer or a web designer, the difference in the amount of money you can make as a freelancer compared to a regular job is pretty enormous, right?
Right.
So
It's huge.
like, how much money would you make when you had a regular job as a web developer and web designer at the same time?
When I started as a web developer in a job, I was paid $18 Canadian an hour,
Right.
probably at the time around $14 US. It was still more than minimum wage. However, compared to how much now we charge with our web agency or how much I charged as a freelancer, I would never have been able to charge over $65, $85 an hour in a normal job. And yet that's what we do pretty regularly.
Yep.
And I think that a lot of people maybe believe that these sort of numbers seem incredibly high, but for freelancers, that's actually what your clients are paying for any freelancer or agency.
Yeah.
Right? The boss that has to give you the $18 an hour or 20 or 25 or whatever like the normal job pays you, he needs to get paid more by the client because he needs to keep some profit.
Yep.
He only gives you part of it. And oftentimes they have to pay for a building. And bosses, the reason they want to become bosses is because they want to become rich, essentially, right?
Yeah.
Why would you take that sort of financial risk of managing this big business? Why would you go through the struggle of figuring out how to build a web agency, figuring out how to get clients for that many freelancers and for that many employees and everything? The reason is because they want to make a lot of money. That's what pushes them to do it. And oftentimes they will give you less than 50% of what the client pays for every hour that you work. I used to work for a guy. We were working in his home for a long time because he had a breakup with his ex-business partner who was also his girlfriend. And so we were working in his home for some time because we didn't have an office. And every couple of weeks he had new paintings, original paintings from renowned artists. He had like a new vehicle every couple of months, had new home renovations, like the sort of stuff that normal people only get every couple of years. He got them like multiple times per month, typically. So for me, even at that time, I didn't know how much he kept for every dollar that the client paid, like, you know, the percentage of the value of the work of the employees he had. But essentially, I realized that he was getting paid $85 an hour for every hour that I worked for his client. You know, for example, if I build a website for 30 hours, every one of my hours is paid by the client for $85 an hour on average, and I got paid 18. So he paid me actually less than 25% of the value of my work. And if people believe that, you know, when I say that I charge $85 an hour, $65 an hour, that these are ridiculous numbers, well, in Canada, that's what the clients are paying for web development.
Yep.
It's just that instead of competing with other employees, you're competing with the bosses when it comes to income, right? You're getting paid what clients tend to pay. It's not a question of how much employees get paid because you're not competing with employees. Employees don't try to find clients. Only the bosses do. And the bosses only offer their services for a lot of money. And so it's not difficult for you to be the cheapest while still making a lot of money, or position yourself in a way that you make the clients feel like you're worth just as much as that other boss who runs an agency. And because you're worth just as much and they're used to paying 65, 85, well, that's what you're worth. You mentioned that there's a second reason, the freedom.
Yeah, I guess we kind of all had that experience, right? Like, I don't know for you, but like some of the jobs I had as a salesman when I was younger, like for example, one time I was working in a tech shop in my hometown, right? It was The Source, actually, in Canada. Pretty famous, big.
Right. I don't know if it's a worldwide company.
No, it's not. It's not. But if anyone Googles it, like, you'll find it. It's a tech shop, and they sell a bunch of stuff. They sell like TVs and stuff, but they mainly make their money with the cell phones they sell and the internet services, internet and TV and telephone services they sell, because it's on a subscription. It's a subscription business, right? It's a subscription thing. So my job basically was to sell these. Like, people were coming in the shop for TVs, and my job was to sell them internet. Like, it was a job. It was a salesman job. Like, you had to offer things people were not after. It was pretty fun. Like, I loved that part of the job, right? What I hated, though, was the fact that they made me do the most ridiculous things. Like, if there's, like, at the beginning of every single day, you had to, like, check every single article in the shop and make sure that the price was right and that and the computers worked and stuff. At the end, you had to, like, clean everything. And I'm not a janitor. I'm here to sell, right? It was my goal, not to sound pretentious or anything. It was just like, I saw myself as a salesperson, and I felt that it was what I had to offer to that business, and I wanted to sell things. I wanted to be a salesperson. I did not fucking want to be a janitor. I did not want to clean everything, but I had to.
Right.
I had to, because otherwise they would fire me. Not because I was not valuable if I did not clean anything, but because you had to be obedient.
Right.
It's what having a job implies.
Right.
So we all had these experiences. It's what it basically is.
Everyone has had experiences with a manager or boss that asks you to do things that feel irrelevant or that you don't want to do. Absolutely. Right.
Sometimes it feels,
or you want to take vacations
and you
can't. Right.
Yep.
Something happens, or you find a really great opportunity to just go on a vacation with your girlfriend. You can't. You have to ask in advance, a couple of weeks. Oftentimes they say no. Right. As a freelancer, I think, it's not the reason I became a freelancer, but I really enjoy the fact that I can just decide to go on a vacation when I want. My girlfriend wants to go do something. My friends want to go do something. I can just like finish my work day right now, go play Magic the Gathering with my friends who tell me through Facebook Messenger that they're in the local Magic the Gathering shop, and I just go there, and 15 minutes later I'm playing Magic the Gathering.
And the thing is, you can always do that when you're a freelancer. Even though you have, like, a lot of stuff to do. You have a client that, like, you have a close deadline or anything or something, like, you should be working. For some, like, I don't know what's happening, but you gotta work.
Right.
Like, you have the choice. You have the freedom to do what you want. You can do what's good for you. You are the person in charge of your own destiny.
Right.
As a freelancer.
Wow, that was quite a poetic way to say it. I love that.
So it's not always going to be good to like decide to like close your computer and stop working and go see your friends and do like board games, right? But the thing is, you can do it.
And for me, I don't really like strong deadlines.
Yeah.
I don't really like the pressure. So oftentimes what I do is I take less jobs than I need.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather work 20 hours a week and not be stressed than make a lot of money, right? And I think at $65, $85, $100 an hour, it fluctuates. You know, you're not getting paid the same amount of money every time, but I refuse to work categorically below 65. So I'm still getting paid a lot of money despite that. But, you know, it's enough if you want to work 20 hours a week and not and be able to enjoy all your time with your friends without feeling like you're not doing the work that you should be doing. But you can also take a lot more jobs and make a lot more money. It's your choice.